Don't put your number. Don't put your number.
I'm not putting my number. I'm putting your number.
That's my room.
Okay, put my number.
I'm hungry.
Okay, well, don't be such a baby. I cooked you some bacon for a trail snack.
I ate it already.
What flavor coffee is that? Up dog?
What's that?
I don't know. Nothing. What's up with you?
It's the Al Travis Show. We're lucky to have him. We got the new segment we're calling Seth on Hockey. And we'd love to have him come in here and talk all things hockey with us. Seth, how are you?
Al, I'm doing great. Hockey season's in full swing, and the Minnesota Wild, every year that I've covered them, they prove that there is no shortage of things to talk about.
Well, and we'll get there. I want to start off something a little basketball-y, but I want to see if you think it permeates into hockey. Yesterday, NBA, 32 people, head coaches of basketball teams, old players, all get swept up in this gambling issue going on in the NBA, right? And I can't imagine this is all they're going to find. This is just like that spearhead, the tip of the iceberg. Chauncey Billups made money his whole career. He's a head coach of the Raptors. The guy's got it. And somehow, maybe he isn't, all accusations right now, people, but somehow he's being accused of rigging poker games to take some rich guy's cash for getting to play with Billups. Where in your opinion, does this mindset come from? Make 50 grand, 100K? What are you doing?
It's baffling to me. Like, Billups he was a very successful player, went to multiple NBA finals. Now he's a head coach. Like, he's got more money than the average person would ever be able to spend in their lifetime.
Yep.
The craziest thing about this is you're getting mob families involved in this.
How many mafia people do you know? This is the strange thing. Maybe it's just where we live. I don't think I've ever met a mafia don. I honestly don't think I have.
I don't know if I knew that mafia families were still a big thing, to be honest.
Well, okay, so he gets involved. Let me ask you the other one. One was a player, Rickard or something like that, told his best friend, I'm going to get hurt in the first quarter and pull myself out. And you can bet on anything anymore. The toss of the coin, whatever, how many he's going to score, over and under. And they make $100K on him dumping out of a game.
Yeah, this is the age of gambling we're in now. Is prop bets have become just such a big part of it. You can, anytime touchdown for an NFL player, and that's an easy one. If you're trying to throw it, that's an easy one to say no. But especially in basketball, all the counting stats, points, rebounds, steals, all those things. And if you tip somebody off, hey, I'm not going to be in this game for very long, and they bet the under on all of those.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good day.
Yeah, and besides the under that, they're also one team. I don't want to say it's Toronto, might be wrong. They said, guess what? I know that 4 of these guys aren't going to start, and so this squad end up, taking the under. And guess what? The team loses by 28. Why do we think this is just an NBA problem? You look at the NFL. And you think, wow, and again, if I just miss this catch and I keep it within 30 points or whatever, the over-under, I make money. And if I'm that receiver, maybe I just don't make that extra spectacular. Maybe a little harder in football, unless you're maybe a quarterback or, a running back can absolutely fumble, I suppose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel like this would be easier in the NFL for quarterbacks and kickers. I think it'd be the two that it'd be easiest for, but this is absolutely not just an NBA problem. As the leagues, as the media networks that cover the leagues get more and more involved in gambling, I was surprised that ESPN's segment talking about this wasn't sponsored by FanDuel. Like I was half expecting that they were going to say, we're talking about this crazy gambling thing, but first, a word from our sponsor.
I love that. Hey, we have FanDuel's a channel down here bringing to the Twins. There's baseball would be one I would think you could do something if an Ohtani, goes to pitch and just couldn't find the corners. It just wasn't my day. I'm not saying any of these people are doing that. How hard would it be in hockey?
It goes back to some of those prop bets, too. Like shots on goal would be, I think, the one you would be most likely to do this if you were.
Okay.
And or goals. It's you just pull up on shots, I guess, is the way to kind of take care of that. But this is 100%. This is going on far deeper than just this one investigation uncovered. There's more of this going on. There has to be.
So what about in college? And now you look at these guys who are 22, 23, making more money than you ever needed. But now with NIL money and kids, not making money, they're 18 years old, first chance to ever get a check. I got to think it's ripe for fraud because they're, again, gambling on everything they do.
Yeah, and it's some of the system that they're using, Al, is backwards. Like I know there was a story about a college football team that the players went out to eat, and because the dinner was above an amount of money, particular amount of money, I don't remember exactly what it was, but they all ended up getting in trouble. So they have their priorities in the wrong spots, but with NIL, with sports betting as prevalent as it is, it's gonna hit everything.
And do these teams, these programs, organizations have to get rid of it? Or are they so married to that money now you'll never see them get rid of it? They'll say, see, we cleaned it up. We found them and we kicked them out. Aren't we great?
They're going to try to be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. The money is just too tantalizing. Like the money is it's too big, and it's become too big of a piece of the puzzle for them to outright get rid of it entirely. They're going to just try to kind of play both sides.
Well, I'm not a big gambler. I talk about I gamble dollar on my golf game, so I might lose $3. It's not something that intrigues me much at all. But isn't the way to do this is those guys that spend $50 to $100 and want to pay the trifecta on whatever, that they stop doing it because they're not sure it's not rigged. And if they did that, maybe we'd see something change.
Yeah, that I think you're going to see people just be more weary of some of the. It just goes to common sense. If it's too good to be true, like, hey, you want to go play a poker game with Chauncey Billups? Me, myself, I'm like, no, I think I'm okay. I don't I don't really need to do that to have a good night. I mean, I think you're just going to see people be a little more weary of where some of this is coming from, and I'm sure there's going to be more and more crackdowns as the FBI uncovers more.
All right. Let's bring it on back to hockey. That's why we're here. Seth on hockey. I just saw the ESPN Power Rankings brought to you by FanDuel. Made that up. Minnesota the Wild ranked 21st. They were 16th a week ago. They're the 21st team right now. Is that where they belong? Is that a decent shot poll?
I think so. This Wild team has been very inconsistent so far this year, and if your name isn't Matt Boldy or Kirill Kaprizov, you are probably not scoring a goal for this Wild.
Okay.
That's been an issue, honestly, going back 3-4 years. Secondary scoring's been a major problem, and Bill Guerin has mostly just kept this roster the same. There have been some tweaks to it, but it's mostly still the same roster that we've seen the last few years, and those guys didn't get more skilled. They got older.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, let me ask you this. It's early. It's always early. I get it. It's early. But we're, a 10th of the way through the season, 8 games in, and we are already 6 points back.
Yeah.
Points are tough to gain. I mean, you're almost doubled in points, 7 to 13. It can't keep going the way it is for a whole lot longer. How far behind can you get to hope to catch up? What do they got to do to turn this Wild team around?
They
you can't get younger.
No, you have to figure out how to get another line to match what Kirill and Matt Boldy have been doing. They've both been great so far this year, but so many other guys just have not been able to get the puck past the opposing goalie. You have to be able to. You look at any other team in the Central Division, they can hit you with 2 scoring lines. Most of them can hit you with 3. Yeah. And it's tough to try to match that with just one overload line. So they have to figure it out. They've got to find somebody that can step up into a top 6 role and give them some consistent scoring.
All right, fair enough. Anybody stand out so far to you that is like the hockey team you better be watching out for? You're again 10th of the way through, things change, but is there somebody you're loving to watch?
I mean, the Colorado Avalanche have looked great. They went up against the Carolina Hurricanes, one of the best teams in the East. They were down 4-1, and they ended up coming back to get that game to overtime. Wow. Nathan McKinnon's playing out of his mind. Cale Makar, one of the best, if not the best defenseman in the league. He's off to a great start. That Colorado team is super dangerous, which is a big problem for the Minnesota Wild. But they have been probably at the top of my list so far.
Okay. All right, fair enough. We talked too much about gambling. I'm going to go to break. When we come back, I want to talk some college hockey. Is that fair?
Sure. Sounds good to me.
I've got him. It's Seth on hockey on the Al Travis Show.
Think about it. Now that school's back in session, how are Minnesota students doing? Not very well. Minnesota ACT scores fell again last year and are the lowest they've been in 10 years. In fact, fewer than half of Minnesota students can either read or do math at grade level. Think about it. We used to brag about our schools. Now we're losing to states like Mississippi. Visit AmericanExperiment.org for more information. Think About It is brought to you by Center of the American Experiment, Minnesota's think tank.
Do you have a closet full of old videos, photos, slides, or films? Regain that space and preserve those memories for future generations. Visit archivinglifemedia.com or call 952-829-8018. See how safe and simple it is to digitize all your media. Gain peace of mind knowing that all those important memories will be saved and can be seen and shared again. Do it today. Check out archivinglifemedia.com or give them a call, 952-829-8018.
The Al Travis Show, the last place you can go and hear all sides. Respectful, thoughtful, and grateful.
We've got him, Seth on hockey. Okay, let's talk a little WCHA if we can start there, sir. When you're looking at the scores and who's there, the standings, Ohio State, for real, right? I mean, they're just on the top. They haven't lost anything yet in the rankings. They're not, are they generally a powerhouse?
You know, I guess as far as I've been following, it's pretty rare to see them as far up as they have been. But you know, you'd expect that for a program of that caliber and all the other sports, is that eventually kind of catch on. So I'm equal parts surprised to see them up there, but also it kind of fits what Ohio State just does traditionally with their other sports.
Or Wisconsin, Ohio State. But then you get into the Minnesota guys. Minnesota, Duluth, St. Thomas, Minnesota State, and St. Cloud in that order. I'm saying Minnesota State, St. Cloud, is it just a slow start right now? What is the difference there? Because generally those two are at the top of the ticket, right?
Yeah, it is. I think still, especially for Minnesota State, you're still trying to kind of get things ironed out after a lot of roster turnover in the off season. Tons of transfer portal. They're still just they're still trying to kind of get those combinations put together, but I just go based off of what we have seen from this program that at the end of the season they'll definitely be there. It's just they're going to get on one of those runs, and the next thing you know they'll be at the top of the standings again.
All right. Do you do much with what is it, the poll, the USCHO, whatever they call that? Do you follow that much? That's where the coaches kind of pick. Are you a big follower of that?
Yeah, that is kind of becoming the new thing. I know in the past they've used the pairwise almost exclusively. Now they're trying to go more towards those traditional rankings. So it is interesting to it's going to be something that's interesting to watch as the season unfolds. In the case of the Maverick men, 2 ties against Wisconsin. Those actually those actually are going to be okay for the Mavericks because Wisconsin's expected to be pretty good. So you battle them to a tie. That looks good on you. So those are 2 games that I think will really look favorably on the Mavericks by the time the season's over.
All right, now you do actually the voiceover, the work in the auditorium itself. Is this your first home? Is this our first home match?
Yeah, this is the first home game for the Mavericks. They were on the road for the first 2 weekends, and they're coming home to play RPI. And the only reason I know this is because I was worried I was going to have to say it. It's Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. Thankfully, though, they just prefer RPI, so that's way easier for me to say. But they're 0-4. Mavericks should be able to win both. They're going to unveil the banners for the conference championship and conference tournament tonight, so that'll be fun to add little festivities to it. But I would imagine it'll be a sweep for the Mavericks this weekend.
All right, it's I'm trying to keep up. I'm not trying to ignore you here, but the WCHA homepage is not giving me that. They're telling me you played them on September 19th. It's telling me
that may be the women that played. I think they played RPI earlier. I know the men are the ones that play RPI here tonight and tomorrow.
Why would my computer jump to the women's game right away? I'll have to figure that. All right, I'll figure it out. Anyway, so they're playing RPI. This should be wins for us, home game, that sort of thing.
Wins for both. Yeah, should be wins for both games.
How long have you been doing the announcing at the games?
This will be my first game that I've done for hockey. Started with football this school year, so I'm getting the hang of how the whole production works. But yeah, this will be the debut voyage on the hockey side.
But how about hockey just in general? This is the first team you've done this for?
Yes, this is the first team I've been covering. I've been covering and following hockey for about 5 years now, actively. I always enjoyed watching before that, but as far as actual media presence goes, this will be year 5.
Hockey is not one of my top sports. I don't mean that in any kind of bad way. I get it. We're in the state of hockey. I have no problem with that. But I can tell you that going to a hockey game at Mankato State, it's a whole nother thing. And do the radio, I got to do that 3 times, and I get the reason a person will go to a game live and watch that. I understand that 100%. It's a whole nother experience. Do you get that when you're busy working at it?
Most definitely. There's just so many other things going on based off of what you see on the television. There just is so many other little things that are going on. It's like a chess match between both teams that is happening on the ice. You really only get the full picture of that if you're there in person, kind of taking it in.
Now, I know that Bethany, I don't know if Bethany's still doing, but they do put it out on the cable sometime, and you can watch on TV. It's just harder for me to follow there. I just, on live, it's just so much more impressive. So get out there and take a look at that. Anybody coming up in the next 2 weeks? St. Thomas, you good with them? Who is it that you're worrying about?
St. Thomas, that's going to be a fun series for the men coming up next weekend, and that's a nice little home and home. So they get to go to the new St. Thomas facilities, brand new facilities for the St. Thomas hockey teams. So that'll be a lot of fun. I'm honestly jealous that I'm not going with, but that's going to be one. They battled the Mavericks tough last year. Now they can actually qualify for the playoffs this year. So that'll
Good.
be a test.
Seth, I'm sorry I got a little disjointed there, but I appreciate you being on the program. Let's do it again in a couple weeks. Tell me where we're at with our hockey, will you?
Sounds great to me.
All right. He is Seth on hockey on the Al Travis Show.
When the stakes are high at the Minnesota Capitol,